Okay, so we're moving right along here. We've got our generic caged keys, generic fretboard right there. Okay, so you just imagine the fretboard starts there, so you know what that is. This is the key of C. This is the key of A. In this banner, ignore the C at that point. Okay, the C pertains to this banner. The A pertains to this banner. So I'm saying the C, whoop, let me get a line. The C pertains to this banner. Alright, the A pertains to this banner here. Like that. The G pertains to this banner. You wouldn't worry about the A right there. It's just a label. Okay? So that's the generic keys, generic fretboard, and that's why I wanted to show you that it doesn't matter whether you actually do one of these over here where you have the colors there. Okay, because in A you have a C shape, it's just offset over here, but you have your 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2. The same exact numbers here, the same exact numbers here, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's just that in the in the generic multi-keys fretboard diagram, you get the C shape C here, 5 root 3, 5 root 3. You get the A shape A, 5 root 3, 5. You get the G shape G chord. In the imaginary, the fret is here, so you get the G shape root 3, 5, root 3, 5, root. In E, you get your root 5, 3, 5 root 3, 5 root. Okay, which is similar to the A shape, except you got 5 root and then 3 this interval. A moves up into the warp. The warp takes the 3 over to the right one, and you get 3 to the 3 in a row, 3 to the finger bar. D, there's your D is going to start on 2, but and that's your D. It's going to end up with 5 root 3 up here. So we've got 3 root 5 here. 3, we want to make a triad, so it's like a D starting like this. Okay, 3, 5 root 3, 5 root 3. Okay, and down that F sharp there. That's E. That's F. E. That's definitely E. So that would be F right there, F sharp there. It would be the third. That helps to have the colors. Alright, so let's move along. This was basically yesterday's stuff, but I wasn't doing as well yesterday. The string, you can build these with the patterns. You can go intervals. You can do them in string patterns. D will be starting the D string shape 2, 3, 4. Fifth of D shape is G shape, is A shape rather. Yeah, right, Andy. Fifth of is A shape is going to be 5, 6. And so on. The fifth of the A shape is the E shape, 7 root 2. You just got to know to go over there and get them for the 7. Okay, because if you're below the, if you're not involved with the tuning warp, the 7's going to be over 1. And then C to E is the augmented fifth, so it goes back to the C shape. Fifth of E is B augmented, and you go back to the C shape. It's a circle. And that also pertains to how they stack up horizontally in the D. So you've got D, fifth of D is A, fifth of A is E, but if you want to do it caged, you go up a pentatonic scale. So D, okay, in caged actually we go down a pentatonic scale. So it's D goes to C, C goes to A goes to G, G goes to E, and E goes to D. So as you go to the right in the fretboard in cage, you're going down a pentatonic scale or up the word cage. That's why they made the word cage. Okay, so we've kind of caught up, and we want to get to the new chart. And here it is. Oh my goodness. I finally decided to do, I mean, this is just a brainstorm I had last night. So I had to do this, and I had to write it down. So I did write it down. I did this at night. It's probably about 80% right, or 85, but then when I went over it today and put the proper amount of time and analysis in it, I think I've got it right here. Rule 1 is that if we're going to use an interval between the dots, okay, and this first interval here from the fret nut, I just grabbed this guitar thing off the internet somewhere and just kind of, you know, rocked it out. You know, you can get, there's a million of them on there, right? So this is the fret nut. Okay, this is a regular guitar here. So the interval between the fret nut and the first dot is a minor third, and that goes to the G note. Okay, up here, same thing. Now the G note, then there's a dot, a whole note ahead of that, up from there, is on the A note. There's a dot on the G note, on the B note, sorry. There is a dot on the G note, but there's a dot on the B note, which is another whole step. And we have even another whole step, a dot on the C sharp note, or the D flat note. But probably, you know, in guitar, people like to use sharps. Now, in between the C sharp and the octave of the E, there is another minor third, and then there's another minor third on top of that, if I'm not mistaken. And then we go do that again, and that goes. This is a repeat of this, actually. So from this octave to this red dot is the same as from this fret nut to this red dot. So you see the same thing, except on the second case here, I've included the G, and this is the rule that I was talking about. I want to be able to play that entire shape. Down here, remember, I've preached this time and time again. You cannot get the seventh on the G shape. So I didn't include G as part of the shape that fits between the two dots. So we have, in looking at C here, let's just look at the easiest dot from the fret nut. We'll keep that in view. From the fret nut to the first dot, you can play a C-shaped key of C. So you can do whatever you want in that first box there. We're going to split the dot. From here we have from G to the A dot. What do? G is the fifth of C, and A is the sixth. That gives us a 5-6 interval. Over here, looking at the key, the 5-6 interval is the A shape. So we can play an A shape between the first two dots. Now, I don't have any dots on mine. I had left them either on the top or the bottom, but I have them on my other guitar. Okay, but that one's way out of tune. It'll take too long. So just going to continue on with this guitar. So between the second and the first and the second dot, okay, which is the second interval and the third interval, between the G note and the A note, okay. We were going to play an A-shaped C. So between the fret nut and the second dot, we can do a whole lot of A-ing of C, rather, in the shape of C and the shape of A, which is the next cage shape up. So we've got this and we've got this, all between the two dots. So you just find the dots, and you got your C shape and your A shape between the second and third.